Hello everyone, I'm Mike DeAngelo with That's Entertainment, and this is your video review of MAG by Zipper Interactive. The video game industry is no stranger to massively multiplayer online games. In fact, commercially, they've been in existence since 1991, with Neverwinter Nights, the AOL game, not the title developed by BioWare. Ever-changing, growing, and sucking in new players, it seems that nothing really gets added to the mix. It's rare to see an MMO that doesn't slap an RPG at the end of it. It's rarer still to see a military-based MMO. MAG aims to get involved in the mix, and show that swords and shields aren't the only things that fit into the genre. But can MAG truly find a place in the community that is already swarming in science fiction and fantasy? Unfortunately, as a first-person shooter, MAG relies fairly little on story. And as an MMO, a single-player campaign is absent. A backstory is provided, but it isn't expansive in the slightest, and the in-game going-ons are cursory at best. In 2025, countries can no longer justify the cost of their own militaries. Natural resources are in high demand but low supply, and as a result, many countries release enough of their military presences so that they would have just enough aid in case of a national emergency. Furthermore, world peace between nations is effectively pioneered with the law that no country is allowed to move their own military beyond its borders. Enter the private military companies. In response to the dwindling resources of the planet, PMCs sell themselves out to the highest bidder at the lowest prices, competing against each other to get the job done. In essence, this means sabotaging the other company's communications, weapons, and, of course, their manpower. There are three major PMCs left after a series of mergers and acquisitions. Valor is your traditional military suit, and is comprised of mostly veteran soldiers from North and Middle America and the UK. Raven is the high-tech group, and consists of Western European and Middle Eastern armed forces. The final PMC is Sever, a ragtag army from Indochina, Russia, and other countries of Asia.
For riches, for honor, for the brotherhood.
MAG is unbelievably fun, when it works. The concept of the game is to take, at most, 128 people and commit them to war against another 128 people, pitting two PMCs against each other in a battle over resources. However, as mindless as the violence is, there is a strategy that needs to be formed. Whether or not the strategy and objectives are implemented is up to the players involved. Sometimes you get lucky and you're placed on a team that works together. Other times you're left with people who foolishly ascend towards the next stream of bullets that will undoubtedly break them down without bias. This leads you into chaos that is only accentuated by the host of extra players. Players are rewarded experience points for performing tasks related to their objectives, as well as killing players from the opposing team. When leveling up, a skill point is awarded that the player can use to progress a weapon or specific piece of equipment. The size of the map is an important distinction between this game and most other shooters. However, just because the map is bigger, that doesn't mean that there are fewer headaches. While progressing through battle, you notice that there aren't enough checkpoints to help you get back into battle. Often, you spend several minutes just to get back into the heat of the fight, when you are ruthlessly put down again, often by someone you never even saw. MAG's graphics aren't the greatest to feast your eyes upon, but considering all the action going on at once, and considering that there is usually little to no lag, it more than gets the job done. There are so many nuances to the maps that it almost conveys a realism that most other first-person shooters forget about. The sound and voice work aren't anything to give high praise to, but if you're playing the game as intended, you'll be communicating with your allies anyway.
Sensor shells inbound and on target.
The best part about the game is its constantly changing perspective, courtesy of the host of other people you play with. No two games will ever be the same thanks to this dynamic. Unfortunately, your objectives as well as the maps will eventually begin to feel stale, thanks to the lack of game types and of game maps. In addition to this, the maps will always have a certain team defending the same objectives, never allowing them to be on the attacking side. Some players will never get to experience those maps from the other side of battle. Based on conditions beyond the game's control, a lot of variation can be seen in its quality. As intended, MAG is about teamwork, strategy, and following orders. However, sometimes in action, it descends into an exercise in babysitting, with players doing little other than whining. For a first-time entry into the MMO genre, MAG clearly shows that it has ambitions, and you can tell that it tried to act on them. Perhaps in the future, Zipper Interactive will find a way to make teamwork seem more appealing while finding a way to punish good players on bad teams a little less actively. That's Entertainment awards MAG a score of 8 out of 10.